will close my door to take out the office noise, mainly the air conditioner that's running. Well, how are you, Lynn?
Oh, I'm fine. No, I have something that says continue or leave meeting.
Oh, continue.
Oh, continue. Oh, yeah, this may.
Could we not do it on the regular phone?
It wasn't. She wasn't coming through.
Am I coming through now?
Yep, you're coming through, and I think I got it turned down enough to make it not echo back. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, let's do it.
Well, Lynn, thank you for joining me. It's been quite a while since we've actually had a chance to see each other, much less talk. And we had a lot of stuff to plow through in our early days together. So I'm just curious, Lynn, tell me a couple of things, if you would. First, why did you get involved in Habitat?
I'm pastor's wife, and so my husband was scheduled to be a pastor in Brainerd at the Methodist church there, and we became really good friends with the people across at the church, the other church, and it was, I guess, working at the hospital. I known Sister Vivian. And so she was able to kind of put me onto this thing called Habitat for Humanity. And the only habitat I would see was the habitat for deer hides or something to that effect. And so it was a whole new concept to me, even though I knew Jimmy Carter down south was doing all that stuff. But that appealed to me so much because so many of the people, even in congregations that we served, had very inadequate housing. And they, like today almost, it's really hard to bring yourself up to find a home that's safe. I had met a family whose landlord had nailed the front door shut because they would not, didn't even want to fix it. And that meant the people had to go out the side door. And that night I woke up hearing the fire alarm go off and sounded pretty close to where that service home was. And ever since then, fortunately, it wasn't that home. But I thought of that mother and father and two little children trying to get out of a door that they really couldn't. And I think that was the thing that started saying, how can you help? Well, then meeting with Paula Duke and John Feller, it was very easy to be pulled into what was then a very starting idea. Sister Vivian had gone to some kind of conference, and they wanted to bring back something that your community really needed. And she too felt that adequate housing was the objective. So Sister Vivian, who was a saint, was very able to work within the Brainerd Hospital to get them to, why don't you just give these houses across the street? Why don't you give them to somebody and they'll move them and then we can put in our parking lot? So that's how Habitat started. 2 houses were moved. Amazing to find people that moved houses. I didn't realize that could be done. But by then, we had a small little room next to the furnace in the basement of the Congregational church. So that's where we started putting the pens and pencils and stamps and things to see what we wanted to do there. We were there for quite a while. Paul Mans became very involved, and so we very much appreciated his business. He was a restaurateur. So his business model was very helpful to us. After that, we began to realize that we were going to need more space, and so we had a series of offices, but it all worked out. There were so many wonderful people involved. Once you started with a framework, it wasn't hard at all to get going. But we realized right away to know how to move this business along. And so we put out what is it, a work announcement in the paper, an ad in the paper. And this fellow called Kevin Chelsea, he was a Boy Scout leader, I remember. And he was one of the most interesting people I think I've ever met. He knew a little bit about everything, but he wanted to know a lot about more. I think basically what sold our group on him as being the new director was the fact that he cared about people, and he wanted to make a difference. And he too was looking at, certainly Boy Scouts was a way to get help the system, but also he just wanted to give people a chance to do for themselves, and just a little bit of help to boost them over that into that dream home. So Kevin was hired, and from then on, day one, it was really exciting. You want to do what, Kevin? And so we would look for a place to have an office, and finally winding up with, after we got pretty well established with the home committee, and finding some people who would fit what we thought would be the right, well, what am I trying to say? Would be right for the habitat. I'm looking for a word here. They would fit the habitat dream. They were willing to work on their own home and be very supportive of habitat. So we wound up, I don't know how it happened, but Kevin bought land. We got land. We got the place for the office. It was all fixed up, and wow, this wonderful big warehouse. Even found a lovely young woman to be the organizer. She got it all organized, and well, we had a tornado come through. So that was another exciting thing. But
well, exciting might be generous, Lynn.
You just tell me when to hush, and I'll hush, because I go on and on. But we moved all of the furniture and things into the that were there. They were, of course, all wet and everything, but things we could save. Little did we realize that when we opened the door to that big truck, everything smelled so horrible that we could not use most of the things that we tried to save. But we did have some temporary offices and people that were very generous about letting us use space, from banks to the Senior Citizen Center, until we could get the office rebuilt. I don't know when or how I was able to be a part of that, but it has been one of the most exciting parts of my whole life. And I want to thank Habitat for all it does, continues to do, and especially to Kevin and his new secretarial staff. So thank you, Kevin.
Well, thank you, Lynn.
But
thank you. But your imprint here is long lasting. You were here getting family selection stuff started. You did pencil and paper ledgers and got us transitioned into a computer system. So you saw a lot of change. So in your estimation, what's the most significant change you've seen in our area with Habitat?
Basically awareness of what Habitat is. And I feel this, the storage here,
the restore?
Yeah. I just think that is a marvelous idea. And almost every day, certainly down here, I hear about people wanting to give to the restore, even here in the cities. And wow, that's great. It didn't even exist before. So that's another big, very helpful thing. That to me is the biggest change, is just the fact that Habitat exists, and that there will always be families, unfortunately, that fit what we were looking for. I just don't want to wake up having dreams like I had before, that people are dying because they're locked in their houses. The the door was locked shut. It was
Right.
a pretty bad place.
Right. So Lynn, when I first started, there were 12 homes that were closed, and we shortly thereafter closed on number 13. Tell me what your reaction is to hearing that we just closed on house number 122 and started number 123.
Whoa. See, we made the right choice way back then. Oh, Paul and John. Yep, we did good. That's probably the biggest, best thing that we did.
Lynn, thank you so much. Wonderful stuff that we've done together. And I remember fondly the very first day coming into the office, not knowing what Habitat was, what I just got myself into, but you and Joni were there as bright, smiling faces to greet me. And not too long after that, we had a gentleman come in, asked a question that I didn't know how to answer, and you said, well, we're going to find out. And you told me to call Brooke Silvernail, and the rest was history. We learned how to build houses together, Lynn.
Oh, good. Thank you. Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, and you know that I'm curious to hear you respond to this, because you've seen all sides of Habitat. But my take is that the family selection process is the hardest work of the entire organization. What's your comment and reaction to that?
I think I did not go back into when we had to move, when I dropped out of Habitat. It was very, I would take it home with me. And it got to the point where there were so many people that were needed. I just needed a rest, I guess. And never stopped supporting it, whether here or in the cities or in Aiken even. We started one there. It was, it's a tough job. You just see these lovely little families and what they're having to put up with.
And
you kind of adopt the family as your own, and that's the hard part. I should have been able to leave my work when I went home.
Well, I think that's a healthy discontent, because it drives us to want to do more.
Yes, exactly.
And there's abundance of that to serve. Trying to think here, Lynn, some really fun things. I don't know, if somebody walked in the door and learned that you had been involved in Habitat and they were wondering what it was all about, what would you say to them about getting involved?
It's a way to show that you know how to be a homeowner. You know what it's going to take. You know it's a lot of work, and you're willing to pitch in, and you're willing to help others do the same on their homes when needed. And I saw that happen so many times. It changed their whole outlook on life. To have a home means you have hope. So Habitat Hope is where it is.
Amen. I can't disagree with anything you just said. That's wonderful, Lynn. Jeanette, do you have any question for Lynn? I know our time is going to bump up here.
Yeah, no, Lynn, I just, coming in, actually, I wasn't in the next person after you. There was one in between us. And so your new staff has been here 18 years. So yeah. But I just, I need to thank you. I still have a lot of your stuff written in your hand. You and Joni both.
I want to apologize.
No, I think that you were very instrumental in putting a lot of things in effect, and that we still use today. And gotta thank you for having that, crisp, orderly mind to do things the way you did, because obviously they've been working for us ever since. So yeah, thank you for that.
Well, just know you got a good boss, okay?
Oh, I do.
And he has a wonderful wife and kids, my word.
I agree with that too. So thank you, Lynn. Any parting thoughts that you'd like to share with anybody that might be viewing this sometime down the road?
If anybody wants to know, is Habitat worthwhile, have them call me. And I'll make sure they get the full story. Yeah, no, it was a wonderful part of my life. And I got a little thing when I resigned or when I left. You gave me a little plaque, and that's hanging just right above my head over here. So it means a lot to me. And the friendships that I made are just wonderful.
Well, Lynn, you have always meant a lot to me, and I'm so grateful for the chance to see you and to talk to you. And Jeanette's correct. Your imprint is here and continuing on. So we're really thankful for all you did. And thanks for sharing yourself with Habitat.
And will I get some information on the dinner? And when you have your meeting, can you send me dates?
Yeah, absolutely. We can,
Yep.
if, I'll have to see, because we had you on our invitation list, and I'm hoping that I caught your address change. And if not, I'll make sure you get an invitation.
Okay. I'd just like to have that to frame, to keep in my memoirs.
Yeah.
We'll get you one, Lynn.
Love you all. Take care.
Thank you, Lynn. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Oh, another